why not start first in these storage drawers? So, in the top, these are all my acrylic paints. These are all very cheap. These ones range from £1 to £1.70. These bigger ones were £3 and £2. And I got these from an actual artist shop, I guess. It sells all kinds of books and paints and pens and stuff. And these ones were from another craft shop. So those are the open ones. In this drawer I have my new ones that I haven't opened yet, just to keep them separate. Down here is just basically a junk drawer. I'll bring you down. There we go. Just full of toy cars, trains, from a tower block building game. You know what I'm talking about. Water gun tubes. There's more cars. These figures are good for converting. You can just cut stuff off. Then I have a little bit down. There we go. These colour changing LED tea lights, very useful. Burlap sacks. These are good for making like fences and roofs. Then I have some big tongue depressors or lollipop sticks. Paper straws. There's my moss flocking I used to make a cheap and easy tree with. This is the next set of drawers. It's my parchment paper, very useful for taping down to your workstation and just using it to craft and mould green stuff or modelling putty. I have lots of these polystyrene balls, my old asthma inhalers, and this stuff, really cool. Can make like interesting little rugs and stuff like that. I never really chuck anything away, so whenever I get stuff that comes protected in this cheap bubble style polystyrene, I just cut it up into interesting shapes. This is good. It's like a plastic garden little fencing. I mean, it's only yeah big, but it doesn't need to be super sized, does it? Then we have some spare dice and paper clips, lots and lots of cotton balls, and the bottom two aren't mine. Okay, so here we have basically the stuff I use all the time whenever I'm crafting. We have my journal just to draw down designs in, have my wet palette, have my junk bin, just loads and loads of rubbish in there and bottle tops and interesting looking stuff that I've found among the house that would normally just go in the trash. My airbrush. Bit of a tip, if you don't know, get some of this plumber's tape. It's very, very thin, almost like a ribbon, and it eliminates any, can you just make out there? Yeah, I'll put some around it, just eliminates any air getting out of your airbrush. I have something planned for this cool little statue I found in my bedroom, by the way. My green stuff rollers. These are awesome for making tentacles and stuff. I have the small one and the extra large version. Every time I get a new set of minis, I cut off the bits I don't use and I add them to my very well organised bits box. I also have some minis I still have to paint. And this is if I'm ever doing some close-up shots. This was the first camera stand I ever made. In fact, the first couple of videos were made using this very fun stand. And if we just go up a little bit. Now this organiser, I was actually looking at this exact one on Amazon, and I believe it was $12.99 or something. And before lockdown, I was going through charity shops and I found this. It was £3. So keep your eye out in charity shops. I'm also working on, if you've ever seen any of the Monster Bash videos, if not, look them up. They're just #Monster Bash. Check them out. Some awesome artists came up with a deck of cards. Brilliant, brilliant. So much fun. Yeah, so basically my clippers, carpenter's square do they call it? Just so I get straight edges. My homemade black wash. Just some parchment paper in there for my sculpting. Some spare plastic glue. Some coloured glass shards. Sculpting tools. Spare paintbrushes and my main paintbrushes. And over here we have all my paints in my 2 paint stands that I made out of cardboard. They will be, I have a playlist where they will be in. And there is all my reference books and rule books and stuff. A good book to look out for. I've seen this on a Facebook group I'm in. The Osborne Book of Making Models. Some really good stuff in there. So yes, get yourself some reference books. And here is some old sprues that I'm dissolving in acetone. What's acetone? It's nail polish remover. But make sure you get the kind that has acetone in it, because sometimes you can get acetone-free nail polish remover, and that's not really good. And also, to look out for, we have sweets, I'm sure they'll have them everywhere, they're called Quality Street, and they come wrapped in this, there's like a foil, and there's this clear plastic, and I've used this as interesting windows on my trailer build. 1 second. Yeah, I realised in the video you couldn't really make it out, but there you go. I just glued them to the inside like that. Just made a cool looking effect in the dark when the light is on. Now, I did buy a 3D printer, but sadly when it arrived it had a crack in the LCD screen where the UV light shines through, so I had to return it. But I did also buy this skin coloured 3D printing fluid, so at least I'm prepared. And apart from that, up here I have my glues, my wood stain and my baking powder. I also have a spare set of drawers with just some little bricks and tiles and stuff in. And if we go right up to the top, we have some builds that I've previously made. And now onto the last section of my workshop. Okay, and here we have my Proxon hot wire table. Is it completely necessary that you need one? No. You can just get a hot wire cutter. This was like £5. Obviously not as steady, but you know, it'll do. And in here I just have my tape plasterboard tape, which is good for making cool 40k terrain. My coloured tiles. Obviously you need some gloves. Down here is just spare sand. I have different types of rope and thread. A bag just in case I'm doing any painting and I want to protect my work surface. So here we have the Stormcast. These are all the minis that came with the Model Realms magazine. I think I'm up to issue 49. And here is the Night Haunt. And above, that's my Cities of Sigmar army that I am slowly building up. Very slowly. Over here was my Start Collecting box set. Sylvaneth, I believe. And at the very top, we have the first Monster Bash creature I created. I love that thing. Really creepy looking. And just over here, I just have a spare display board. And what do I hide under my desk, I hear you say? Nothing exciting. On the left here, that is all my homemade flock. In that grey bin, that is also a ton of flock that is just in reserve. I also have all my rulers and PVA and spare PVA. And that is my little tub of extra bits, like my polyfiller, if I'm ever to make any more homemade washes, that's where all the stuff goes there. And just last thing here is just some scouring pads, very useful for making homemade hedges.